Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. After nearly 20 years in limbo, the National Agricultural Land Development Authority, established in 1992 to bring development to rural communities through agriculture, has been resuscitated. That of social affairs, gender and women empowerment, holding Guinea-Bissau, is analyzing reports from experts in the ECOWAS Commission Response Opportunities to mitigate impact of the pandemic on food security. ECOWAS member states have already set up various mechanisms to coordinate the management and fight against the pandemic. The Director General of Voice of Nigeria and Chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Osita Okechukwu, has appealed to Nigerians to key into the Agrarian Revolution program under the Buhari-led administration. Addressing journalists at the APC National Secretariat in Abuja, this, he says, is a roadmap towards speedy achievement of financial independence, especially among the teeming youths and women. Salih Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Launched in the early stage of the Buhari administration, precisely on 17th November 2015, the Buhari Agrarian Revolution is a policy that is aimed at driving the country's desire for food sufficiency, safety and security.
Of the almost 4 million square meter space of Nigeria is fertile.
The Director General Voice of Nigeria has acknowledged the growing figure of food production, particularly rice, which the rice farmers say increased as a result of the Anchor Borrowers program and ban on forex for food importation, coupled with land border closure. Government efforts in providing an atmosphere for various innovations by youth to thrive in the areas of small and medium-scale entrepreneurial skills and subsistence farmers migrating to commercial farmers are government policies that require more commitment and sincere support by the citizens, as he explains.
What I call the Buhari Agrarian Revolution, for me, it is a roadmap to Nigeria's resurgence. Our people, especially the teeming youths and women, are here to embrace this milestone as expected. I wish the state governors will join Mr. President and put more effort in what they are doing.
Lifting 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years, reducing economic inequality, enhancing internal democracy as the bedrock of true democracy, he agreed, remains the top priority of the current administration. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
To electoral matters, acting chairman of INEC, Ahmed Muazu, has begun the process of having a date for the conduct of the 15 outstanding by-elections in 11 states, earlier scheduled for October 31st, 2020. Mia Ogidi reports on the efforts and other decisions taken by the new man on the seat.
The MC asked all to stand up as the acting chair moves in. Betty screams, "No, sit." Everyone goes laughing. That brief show set the meeting between INEC and political parties on an interesting note, though many joined via Zoom.
To consult with you regarding the pending 15 by-elections in 15 constituencies across 11 states of the Federation.
These elections would have been over by now, if not of the NSAS protest, because they were scheduled for October 31st, 2020, but postponed for security reasons. Even in this meeting, there was a protest again. Two factions of IPAC claimed leadership, but the acting chair steps in promptly.
But for the purpose of this meeting, please let us just proceed.
Orderliness restored, the meeting continues, and the journey to fixing a date for the elections begins. Next was the state of the continuous voter exercise.
Now, on the continuous voter registration, the CVR, the Commission intends to roll out the nationwide program in the first quarter of 2021.
The media, civil society organizations, and security agencies are on the lineup for similar meetings before a date for the elections will be taken. Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
To power generation now, the Federal Ministry of Power, in collaboration with the Nigerian Energy Support Program and Nigeria Sustainable Energy for All have commenced a nationwide effort towards offering the most accurate data and latest tools that impart data-driven electrification planning in Nigeria. At a virtual launch of the Central Data Management System, the Minister Salim Ahmed said the initiative is part of the Ministry's determination to digitize and address key challenges stifling the growth of the Nigerian power sector.
This is the focus of our electrification strategy to provide Nigeria with sustainable, reliable, and affordable electricity.
Now, how does government intend to achieve this particular objective? Is doing that through a two-pronged approach, mainly connecting the grid, extending the grid to various cronies in the country, as well as providing electricity through off-grid solutions. So what this particular database is able to achieve today is to define exactly what is the extent of electrification by identifying the entire clusters across the country.
Orchard by the European Union and the German government is to drive President Muhammadu Buhari's electrification vision 30-30-30, a target to deliver 30,000 megawatts of electricity by 2030, with at least 30% coming from renewable energy. To the aviation industry now, the Accident Investigation Bureau is redeveloping a systematic approach that will streamline the roles of stakeholders in response to aircraft accidents or incidents for effective safety management system. This is as a result of conflict roles among agencies of government and the general public during the time of distress or emergency, which sometimes hinder successful investigation and evacuation. Aviation correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro reports.
When an aircraft accident or incident occurs, an attempt to help by every kind of person or agency makes rescue or investigation cumbersome. To maximize opportunities that safety management system offers when conducting rescues and investigations during air crashes, adherence to international civil aviation policies and guidelines are key, which the Accident Investigation Bureau is focusing on.
But we need to be able to sensitize stakeholders on their key roles so that when we get to an accident scene or an emergency scene, we'll be able to adequately coordinate ourselves and effect the necessary rescue and evacuation of victims and protection of the sites.
The most important thing is trying as much as they can to enlighten the public.
The forum is therefore adopting 4 components in line with Annex 19 of International Civil Aviation and Safety Management Manual.
There are 4 levels of the safety set program, and Nigeria currently is at level 3. And with cooperation and coordination like this, we'll soon achieve the 4th level and be in complete compliance with the relevant IQ annex.
Also look forward to harmonize the roles of other relevant agencies, stakeholders and industry interests towards integration, enhanced coordination and cooperation during aviation accidents in Nigeria within the Nigeria airspace.
With Memorandum of Understanding reached with different stakeholders by the AIB for a systematic approach compliance, while responding to air crashes and disaster recovery, air safety is expected to be enhanced. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. Let's now head to the megacity, Lagos, where Dr. Uyemi is standing by with some reports. Hello, Dr.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The Otedola Bridge is one of the numerous bridges in Lagos designed to solve the challenges of traffic gridlock and intra-city connectivity. But the tragic experiences of road users is causing apprehension and suspicion that the bridge is shrouded in mystery. In scrambling for a solution, attention is being shifted to the structural defect. But how true is this? Michael Olale provides an answer.
June 28, 2018 was a dark day in Lagos when a tanker loaded with petrol leaked and exploded on the Otedola Bridge. What looked like just one of those accidents claimed 12 lives, while 54 vehicles were razed This is according to the Federal Road Safety Corps available data. This was the height of the incessant road mishaps periodically experienced on the stretch of the Nta2 Bridge, especially by articulated vehicles. The scenario is gradually becoming a nightmare. In the wake of another accident on the 17th of October this year, attention was drawn to the possibility of design defects. Olukoya Oduluga, a tricyclist operating at one of the estates around the axis, has seen it all, and going by his observation, the assumption could be right.
Anytime that the trailer they are coming this way, the way they are coming with full speed, then maybe they have no their brake or anything, something will just happen. They decide to control it, they cannot control it. That's how the motor will meet the one in the front.
Residents say, regardless of their opinion, the position of experts is important in finding a lasting solution.
The work carried out on the bridge. The bridge as at that time, 2018, was structurally stable.
Because it is more or less a site that is like work in progress, that they're building and they're repairing and resurfacing. It means that people need to be careful and limit their speed and be watchful about what they are doing on the bridge.
The Federal Road Safety Corps is putting up a more robust strategy as checking the trend. The sector commander appealed to motorists, especially tanker drivers, to comply with road safety code and treat a complicated situation with care in the interest of public safety. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
In furtherance of its objective to improve public service delivery by motivating and encouraging public servants to perform optimally, the Lagos State government has honored 861 employees of the state public service at an event in Alausa. Nusa Usla completes this.
Good governance is important for developing countries. In Nigeria, the civil service is the administrative arm of the government. It is the organ that helps the government work properly, assuring its staff that government will continue to reward them for their meritorious service. The governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Folashade Jaji, charged civil servants to continue to pursue quality service delivery for sustenance of the change campaign towards an improved public service.
First of all, we started with the COVID-19 pandemic, which nobody anticipated, and we all know how it has affected our lives, and we have lost very important people. But some people still think it's not real. I want to say that it is real.
The head of service, Hakeem Muri-Okola, urged public servants in the state to keep up their good attitude to work and continually perform their good job to further the successful implementation of the team's agenda of the present administration.
The state is going through a process, and part of that rebuilding process is to show how resilient we are as a people, is to show that no matter what comes at us, we will shake it off and grow.
The HOS charged the awardees not to rest on their oars, but continue to exhibit the high sense of responsibility and commitment to duty. In Lagos, Nusa Usula, NTA News.
And those are the stories from here. Nationwide continues right after this break. From here, Nationwide continues right after this break.
A scorecard like no other. Has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, the creation of 75 billion naira National Youth Investment Fund to provide opportunities for the youths, and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survivor Fund, through which government is A. Paying 3-month salaries of the staff of 100,000 micro, small and medium enterprises. B. Paying for the registration of 250,000 businesses at the Corporate Affairs Commission. C. Giving a grant of 30,000 naira to 100,000 artisans and guaranteeing market for the product of traders. These are in addition to many other initiatives such as farmer money, trader money, market money, N-Power, N-Tech, and N-Agro. These and more in spite of a recession and a global pandemic.
Fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Dialogue, empathy, love, and unity. These are vital components of nation building.
For all to be well, we appeal that we should refrain from volatile, provocative, inciting messages and language.
Let's build and not destroy.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. Now to the judiciary. ECOWAS court sitting in Abuja ruled in favor of a suit filed by an impeached justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia, Councillor Kabina Mohammed Jani, who contested his removal from office and replacement with a former vice president of the ECOWAS court. Omenka Amarachuku tells us more.
Delivering the judgment by a panel of three justices of the ECOWAS court, led by Justice Edward Asante, in the suit filed by the applicant through his counsel, Mr. Femi Falena alleged that the removal violated his human rights, particularly the rights of fair hearing and impartial trial, rights to work and dignity of persons guaranteed by the African Charter in Human Rights, which his removal from office violated the Liberian Constitution. He asked the ECOWAS court to award general damages in amount not less than $25 million, as well as compensation, and restore him to his former position of Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia. Respondents, the Republic of Liberia, denied violating the human rights of the applicant and submitted that the impeachment of the applicant was done through due processes of the law. Ruling on the judgment, the three-man panel led by Justice Edward Asante ruled that the defendant was not given a fair hearing, therefore he is to be reinstated, and accordance paid his entitlements as well as moral damages of $200,000 equivalent to Liberian currency. He also asked the respondent to submit to the court report of measures taken to implement the court orders within 6 months. In Abuja, Omenka Amarachuku, NTA News.
We now shift our attention to budget defense. Minister of Mines and Steel Development is seeking the approval of 3 billion naira for exploration in the mining sector to help diversify the nation's economy and create job opportunities. This was at the 2021 budget defense of the ministry before the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, Steel Development and Metallurgy. John Yako has this and other budget defense at the Senate.
The plan is to explore the rich mineral deposits in the country for development.
Exporting our gold in the raw form or converting everything into bullion, we could add value to them by making them into jewelry. When you make jewelry from the gold, the value added oftentimes can be up to 1,000%.
We have enough regulations and acts and laws that can guide all these activities we are talking of, but compliance, we are going to look into this.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice on his part seeks approval for 2 billion naira to enable the ministry carry out legal services on recovery of stolen funds and assets within and outside the country.
Our efforts for aggressive recovery was indeed hindered by the fact that We had to travel at a point where we were incapacitated in traveling. We had to engage the international forensic experts for the purpose of identifying, for example, the interest component associated with this amount right from the time the assets were looted.
We can't achieve anything without looking critically into our justice and judicial sectors, unless we are playing the hostage.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges has appealed to the Minister of Finance to consider an upward review of budgetary allocations to the Code of Conduct Tribunal, the Code of Conduct Bureau, and Public Complaint Commission to enable the agencies function optimally. He made the appeal when the agencies appeared before the committee to defend their 2021 budget.
They will sit together to ensure that this agency is funded so that corruption can be brought to the barest minimum within the spirit and purpose of the laws of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
John Yauku, NTA News.
And Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has presented a budget proposal of 947 million for the year 2021 to run the culture and tourism sector of his ministry. Anthony Forson reports.
Giving a breakdown on how the funds should be expended, Lai Mohammed said the ministry will engage in a series of activities both at home and abroad. Some of the foreign events, though statutory.
Participating at UNWTO, ATA, UNESCO, African Union, ECOWAS conferences, AU Ministers of Culture conferences, etc. And we are budgeting 88 million. Participation in UNESCO General Conferences, these are statutory conferences. We are proposing 31,519,517 naira.
And in the home front, there will be
ramping of existing cultural industries centers in Nigeria. We are proposing a sum of 157,974,604 for these 14 cultural centers.
Defending the 2020 revised appropriation, the minister said the 164 million appropriated, same amount was released for projects and programs in the sector. Chairman of the committee, Omorege Uwede Ihama, while commending the Minister for Fiscal Discipline, called on departments and agencies under the ministry to take a cue.
From this presentation, the minister had 100% releases and has performed very close to 100% in all of them, which I think it's laudable. You don't have any business in keeping government money in your possession. If it has been appropriated for, it should be spent accordingly. And for agencies that are here, if you have not expended your capital project at least up to 70%, and we're in November, I don't think you have any business to be in this hall to try to want to present a proposal for 2021.
The culture sector takes care of international cultural relations, entertainment and creative services, promoting cultural industries and heritage, as well as ecotourism. From the National Assembly, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Into other matters, the role being played by the media in the fight against COVID-19 is seen as a national duty that must be commended and supported by all stakeholders. This was contained in the Advocacy Toolkit on COVID-19 System Rescue and Citizens Action presented to the media. Haman Jabani reports.
The Advocacy Toolkit is to provide the necessary guidance for systematic process of developing advocacy materials around COVID-19 and their impact on the society. It is to include plan and implementation of political, policy and other levels of actions to mitigate the health and socio-economic impacts of COVID-19, which the media is described as the driving force in the fight. Champion of this, International Society of Media in Public Health and its partners believe that COVID-19 made weak system, hence the media playing the role of change agent and putting across its messages to the public despite lockdown of the economy.
Let's ask how our people at the rural areas are coping with all the protocol, why they are so nonchalant about it. We need to, and these are the things we would help even the government, will help even people around. We'll be able to stem the tide of the spread.
It provides a whole range of earnings that, as working families, they can dig into it, find the messages, find the actions.
While the media is ready to continue with the advocacy, government at all levels must be willing and ready to provide necessary data as at when due to avoid doubts and speculations while serving as the bridge builder between government and the citizenry. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Take you to our studio in Kaduna, where Amina is standing by with the next set of reports. Good to see you, Amina.
Elizabeth, welcome to Kaduna. Kaduna State Governor Nasru Ahmed El-Rufai has called on the National Assembly to enhance the budget of the Nigerian Armed Forces for effective internal security operations in the country. The governor made the call in Kaduna when he received members of the House of Representatives Committee on Army. Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports.
Members of the House of Representatives Committee on Army are in Kaduna on an oversight to army formations, but made a brief stopover at the government house. Enhancing army operations is the mission of these lawmakers, and they applauded the support by the Kaduna State government.
The narrative out there is that the National Assembly has always appropriated a lot of funds to the armed forces. But commentaries from public analysts and sometimes from civil society organizations seem to suggest that, look, some of these resources are not well utilized, and that sometimes the National Assembly is not doing its own bit. And we, on this committee, we are doing our own part.
I want to use this opportunity to appeal to you to please enhance the budget of our armed forces, particularly the Nigerian Army. What you are appropriating for them needs to be improved significantly. But because the federal government is overstretched, sometimes the state governments have to come in. And this is one of the reasons many of us are saying that it is time for the federal government to shed some of its responsibilities down to the other tiers of government.
Issues highlighted at this meeting are expected to be given the required attention for a better armed forces. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
To ensure that no sector of the society is left behind in its effort to cushion the effect of COVID-19, Jigawa State Government has reached out to persons living with disabilities in the state. Hawa Halliru Haruna tells us more.
Like other citizens of the country, persons with disabilities will not forget in a hurry the horrific situation they experienced during the lockdown period.
Mutane ba su bukata ta musamman sun shigo da hali na haula'i. Na farko ba damar da za su fito su nema. Sannan wanda za su tallafa musu su ma ta kansu.
We really suffered during the lockdown, which as a result we were deprived from the arms we usually get during fasting period.
Amma a wannan lokacin fa al'amarin ya sha bamban, yan kalilan ne suka samu suka iya wannan abu.
We are the most affected by COVID-19. As markets and other institutions, we are closed where we usually get our daily bread. Succor, however, comes on the way of this category of people, courtesy of Jigawa State Government. The Association of Persons with Disabilities received 1,500 packages of palliatives for distribution to its members.
When we receive these items, we are hoping that they will take it down to the grassroots members so that they can enjoy it. And those that will receive this item, please, I'm pleading to them that please they should use it judicially. They should not take it out. They should not sell it to anyone. They should use it, and if they are alive, take it to their family so that their family will have the impact of government in them.
Members expressed appreciation for the gesture, appealing for more from other public-spirited individuals. From Dutse, Hawa Haller Haruna, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja.
So much, Amina. Moving on, troops of Operation Fireball and Operation Lafia Dole have rescued a woman and 3 children in Bama local government area of Borno State. A statement by the Acting Director of Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyeko, indicates that the victims were liberated during a clearance operation, while 8 terrorists were eliminated in different locations in the northeast. Details of the encounter revealed that 5 terrorists met their Waterloo while in combat at Bonigari in Yobe State, in addition to a female suicide bomber neutralized before detonating her vest. Several arms were recovered from the operations. Now, to peace talks, youth in Yobe State have taken a bold step by designing a roadmap for sustainable peace and development in the insurgency-affected states. This came to the fore at the maiden Yobe Youth Peace Summit, where participants agreed in principles to be the vanguard of disseminating the gospel of peace in their respective localities. Minister Suleiman brings us details.
Is believed to be the cornerstone of every development, and youth, who are often called the leaders of tomorrow, are key in promoting and sustenance of peace in the society. Gathered in this hall are Yobe State youth drawn from different ethnic, religious, political and social backgrounds, united by the desire, passion and commitment to develop a roadmap for fostering of peace and harmony in the society through opinions sharing and cross-fertilization of ideas. Coming at a time when the state is gradually recovering from the decade-long insurgency and on path to recovery, speakers and panelists at the summit said time has come for authorities in the state and the country as a whole to consider youth engagement as part of their priority for the advancement of good governance and social justice if social disorders such as the recent violent NSAS protest and other crises are to be averted.
We have enlightened the youth in order to actively participate in activities that will bring about peace and stability in the nation.
For us to have sustainable peace and security in any society, the youth are critical stakeholders that need to be carried along.
We want to also call on governments to economically empower those women that are breadwinners so that they in turn will have control of their words.
Governor Malabo, the representative, said the first Yobe Youth Peace Summit clearly underscored the crucial role of the youth as the backbone of the society and peace as prerequisite for meaningful development. Hence, commended the teeming youth in the state for not allowing themselves to be used as agents of destruction during the widely condemned NSAS protest. Towards creating a peaceful, decent and egalitarian society was the theme for the summit. In Nta2, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Members of the FCT Ministerial Committee on NSAS protest have commenced visitation to the scenes of attacks within the territory. Shuaibu Onoza Yakuba reports that on day 1, the committee visited Kwali and Gwagwalada area councils to ascertain the level of damage with a view to compensating the victims.
The first port of call was Kwali Area Council Secretariat, where the council chairman, Ladi Chia, took members around the affected areas, after which a report was submitted to the committee chairman.
Kwali Area Council was vandalized, Dr. Ladi Kwali Center was vandalized, and HCD Fertilizer Store was also vandalized. So these are 3 areas that were affected in Kwali, and we are believing the committee will do the needful to see that the FCT administration come in to help Kwali Area Council.
In Gwagwalada Area Council, the team was taking around the vandalized warehouses where the hoodlums carted away food items and other valuables. The situation was more pathetic at Tungamaji, where all the warehouses were ransacked and all the palliatives stolen.
The assessment, we have discovered that it's not only the government or private sector that is even affected. We discovered that even teachers through their own cooperative societies, whatever they are having in their warehouse or stores were looted. This is so bad, and I'm sure the committee is going to do justice as we are expected to do.
Gwagwalada in particular, who has much of this in warehouses, and you've seen it, you've seen the damage, nothing is left. It relates to destruction of properties, even the roofing being removed. And what we use this opportunity to say the minister will look into it.
The team later paid homage to the Aguma of Gwagwalada Muhammad Magaji. The assessment visit to the scene of NSA's protest attack will continue in other area councils of the FCT. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu, Nta News.
A human rights activist, Mr. Nta2 Nationwide, has initiated a criminal proceedings at the FCT Chief Magistrate Court, Abuja, seeking prosecution of NSAS promoters and rioters whose actions led to wanton loss of lives and colossal damages to both public and private property in some parts of the country. The complainant in the affidavit, he deposed to stating that as a responsible citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he is committed to peace, security and good governance in any part of the country while promoting the rule of law, accountability, promoting the socio-economic and fundamental rights of Nigerians. In the verified affidavit posted on his Twitter handle, the complainant listed 28 persons as defendants. He said the rule of law ensures permanent justice, while protests lead to anarchy and lawlessness, which is counterproductive. Mr. Nta2 Nationwide noted that he will ensure diligent prosecution in the interest of defense, public safety and public order. Now, ministries, departments and agencies under the Ministry of Information and Culture should concentrate more on internally generated revenue to enable them perform better with little support from the federal government. This was at the 2021 Budget Defense before Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation in Abuja. Adebola Brookston Sunday reports.
Media outfits are some of the worst hit by COVID-19 as a result of social distancing, lockdown and other protocols. NTA led in the defense, where the Director General Yakubu Ibn Muhammad reviewed the appropriations with the hope of better performance going forward, especially in its efforts towards the completion of its permanent sites and digital switchover.
Our COVID-19 involvement in terms of jingles and programs, November 3rd this year, stands at 630,500,000 naira. If we include live coverages of PTF briefings, the figure will exceed 1 billion naira. The authority is yet to receive any form of intervention in this regard.
For APCON, the advent of social media is a major challenge.
The way we are currently structured, we don't have the empowerment to monitor the digital media.
What I want to say is just to put more effort in internal generation.
The agency has suffered over the years, particularly in the year 2020.
With its 8.2 billion naira proposal, Director General of National Orientation Agency, Garba Abari, said his projection is for 2021 to be better, as the National Film and Video Censors Board also made its defense.
Monitoring and evaluation to make sure that a couple of things did not happen in this country. So this budget was reduced to almost the 2021 was reduced to almost nothing.
For the nation media regulator, National Broadcasting Commission, the acting Director General, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, said 2021 will be a better year.
Our intention in 2021 is to increase on our contribution to the revenue, the consolidated revenue. We are now moving it up from 25 to 30%.
Some of the agencies were asked to return after perfecting their defense. Adebola Brookston Sunday, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on NTA. Time now to join Ogochuka in Benin for more reports. Hello, Ogochuka.
Elizabeth, good afternoon. The Edo State Judicial Panel of Inquiry continued to entertain witnesses of extrajudicial killings by the police and members of its disbanded unit, SAS. Here are details of proceedings in the panel that now has 38 petitions before it.
The late Ibrahim Momodu was a final year student of laboratory science technology in the University of Benin when he was shot close to his family house on Textile Mill Road in May 27, 2013, 7 years after. The case has been brought before this panel. Even though the corporal was sentenced to life imprisonment, the family wants the DPO, now retired, to answer for her complicity in the case.
We're asking this panel to
compel the Commissioner of Police, in the light of evidence, should apologize. Commissioner of Police should apologize to the family of Ibrahim Momodu. We are asking this panel to invite the SDPO of that station, who misled the police and attempted to mislead the people of this state into believing that Ibrahim Momodu was an armed robber.
Few minutes into cross-examination of the deceased mother by the Defense Counsel, Inspector Nnamdi, the panel received a preliminary objection by Mrs. Afebua's lawyer to discontinue hearing the case. This sparked reactions from members of the panel.
It's an insult on us who have been on the street for good 1 year, clamoring for the arrest and struggle who killed Ibrahim Momodu. This is how this came out, that this man is escaping justice, and they have started playing that game in right now.
The chairman struck out the proceedings for the day and adjourned to the 17th for fresh hearing, since the police counsel cannot speak for the retired DPO. Also this Tuesday, the panel entertained a case of murder of one Benson Obude. The case was adjourned to 17th also of this month to give room for the police to be served. In Benin, Agatha Egware-Ojo, NTA News.
And from Asaba, the wife of the governor of Delta State, Dame Iduthokoa, has distributed food items to 48 registered orphanages and 5 adopted families in the state. It is a celebration of the World Orphans Day and her way of giving back to society, of which UNICEF report indicates that almost 10,000 children become orphans every day, and at least 140 million orphans in the world. Ngozi Imokwede has details.
God will multiply what has been given unto you in Jesus' name. As other people see us do this, God will also push them to do more.
Wife of the governor, Dame Edith Okowa, reminded people in authority to put smiles on the faces of the less privileged in the society. She charged caregivers to raise the children in conducive environment filled with love and the fear of God. The governor's wife said every child has a right to sound education, protection, and good life, amongst others. But this is not so with others.
No matter how less privileged you are, there's somebody you are better than. I'm talking to every other Nigerian, which I know this pandemic has shown us that so many people have gone out doing good. Let us not be weary in well-doing. What we are doing here is not like we have done it and that is once in a year. Giving is a continuous process.
Some of the beneficiaries, including Ifeanyi Aboje, an orphan, says the O5 initiative has been catering for them.
I lost my dad in 2008. We lost our mom in 2012. So from there she took us ahead. She paid for my siblings' school fees. We thank God for our life.
I'm elated for us to be here again to receive all these food items on behalf of our children.
The L5 initiative started distribution of food items to the orphanages in the 3 senatorial districts of the state since Thursday last week. In Asaba, Ngozi Imokwede, NTA News.
Nationwide continues in Abuja. Good afternoon.
To lose track of one's culture is to actually lose one's identity and personality. To mitigate this, there must be a conscious effort to jealously guard and preserve this identity for generations, especially in this age where values, norms and morals are fast eroding. In an effort to preserve that of our tribe in Adamawa South, a book, Batiye Migrations, was unveiled. Lydia Sampson reports.
Culture, they say, is a way of life. Embedded in that of the Wati people of Adamawa Southern Senatorial District are good morals, values, virtues, and humanness that must not be allowed to go extinct. Reason why the book Wati Migrations is launched to dig deep into the origins, settlement, migrations, tradition, norms, and values of the Bata and Bachama people.
Agglomeration of quite a number of tribes and people, that covered the expanse of northeastern Nigeria presently. The expression Waraune, for instance, talks more about humanity and humanness and how you can be welcoming to virtually all citizens and people of the world. That tells you that there's something to do to unite Nigeria.
Culture keeps evolving, and as the culture evolves, the people evolve with the culture. And the only way you can uphold and sustain your culture is one of the reasons we're here today.
If you don't write your own history, another person will write it for you. And what he says will be what the world will know.
234 pages, the author, Elliot Afiu, unravels the roots of the people from inception till date.
If you don't have a history, you cannot preserve your culture. So the first thing you do is to get the history.
Our generations to come, if we do not document history and give them to read these books, we will end up having identity crisis.
With bold prints, colorful pictures and illustrations, the book is designed to suit all ages. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And Mina in Enugu has some reports for us on Nationwide. Over to you, Mina.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. Anambra State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, in partnership with UNICEF, World Health Organization, and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, has embarked on a 10-day preventive mass vaccination indices against yellow fever and meningitis across the state. Junior Fesio Queer reports.
Statistics revealed that during the introduction of meningitis A conjugate vaccine into routine immunization in 2019, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency noted that MA remains a major global health challenge, as about 26.7 million Nigerians are at risk of meningitis. Records also showed that from January 1 to December 10, 2019, a total of 4,189 suspected yellow fever cases were reported in some local government areas across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory in Nigeria. It says that from January to September 2020, there have been 42 suspected yellow fever cases reported in Anambra State alone, hence the need for the preventive mass vaccination campaign against the two diseases, meningitis and yellow fever, in the state.
Around 90% of cases are reported annually, and they occur in the sub-Saharan Africa. Infected travelers from areas where yellow fever occurs can export cases to countries that are free from yellow fever.
The 10 days campaign involves two age groups for different antigens: yellow fever vaccination 9 months to 44 years, covering about 85% of the total population; meningitis A vaccination 1 to 5 years, covering about 16% of the total population. The vaccines, experts say, are safe and free. From Oka, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
Enugu State is now set to domesticate the 2016 National Food and Nutrition Policy that will, among other things, improve the nutritional status of children in the state and encourage exclusive breastfeeding amongst nursing mothers. At the opening ceremony of a 4-day workshop to finalize a multi-sectoral costed plan of action for the domestication of the policy, wife of the governor, Monica Ugwuanyi, urged the participants to ensure speedy domestication of the policy for the good of the children and mothers in the state. Jude Abugu has details.
A recent National Demographic Health Survey shows that Nigeria has the highest number of stunted children below 5 years of age in sub-Saharan Africa and the second highest in the world due to hunger and malnutrition. This, the chairman Enugu State Food and Nutrition Committee says the National Food and Nutrition Policy 2016 will reverse by 2025.
Nigeria's policy on food and nutrition 2016 seeks to reduce the proportion of people who suffer hunger and malnutrition.
The chief of field office, UNICEF Enugu Field Office, noted that due to the size and population of Nigeria, nutrition has become a great burden.
Nutrition in particular, if a child does not have the requirements of good nutrition, their cognitive power is still limited and therefore affects their growth and affects their capacity to think.
The wife of the governor, Monica Ugwanyi, stated that wives of Nigerian governors are at the forefront of championing nutrition and food security in the country.
It is important that better nutrition for women, children, and adolescents should underpin Enugu State's push to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals.
The participants cut across ministries and departments in health, education, agriculture, budget and planning, gender, water resources, as well as science and technology in Enugu. Jude Abugu, NTA News.
And that's the contribution from Nta2 Nationwide. Continues with Elizabeth in Abuja after this break.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
My name is Nanda Jamda Muhammad.
Hussein Musa. Rodina Joel Finji. Said Musa John.
I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now.
And I said that plantain, Nakai Kimami Shekara Huku.
I've been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now, and I do it for a better Nigeria.
And I do it for a better Nigeria.
And you can see how we are doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician, and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Business.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
NTA News 24, a 24-hour news station, brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101, and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
Do you know that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's camp is reportedly considering legal action to force Trump's administration to begin transition. Justin Bemwe brings us details.
With the transition clock ticking and yet no action from the Trump administration on handing over to the new president-elect, Joe Biden's team is reportedly looking at legal action, among other options, as the General Services Administration, GSA, fails to formally recognize the Democrat election win. The General Services Administration, GSA, normally recognizes a presidential candidate when it becomes clear who has won an election so that a transition of power can begin. That has not yet happened, despite U.S. television and news networks declaring Biden the winner on Saturday after he secured enough electoral votes to secure the presidency. The law does not clearly spell out when the GSA must act, but Biden transition officials say their victory is clear and the delay is not justified, even as Trump refuses to concede defeat. Trump has repeatedly claimed without evidence that there was widespread voting fraud and has filed a raft of lawsuits to challenge the results. Justin Bemwe, NTA News.
And that ends Nationwide today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Don't forget, the fastest and easiest way to becoming a star is to connect with the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Good evening.
Tenancy matters on the Justice Court. A tenant that is asking for more time to renew his rent despite the landlord had followed the due process to eject him.
When his money due last year, 2019, that's September.
But normally, it's not her own fault. You understand?
So whose fault is it?
It's her brother.
Now you can't say it's your landlord's fault to demand his rent that is due.
I understand.
You are owing him, you are telling it's his fault.
Continuing, a wife that was abandoned with 3 children in a rented apartment and a landlord that wants to eject the family over unpaid rent.
I was told that the husband has, left her and the children relocated to a place I don't know.
Now you stop her from even selling. So where do you expect her to get the money?
Because I want her to leave.
So you blocked.
I want her to, she cannot pay.
How many children do you have? How many?
I have 3 children.
You have 3 children. You don't have to cry.
In celebration of Nigeria's independence anniversary, Goge Africa was present to journey down memory lane from independence at 1960, tracing the evolution of fashion at the independence anniversary fashion exhibition hosted by Modella Couture, featuring Arewa Couture. The event was a chronicle of Nigeria's fashion journey from independence to contemporary times.
Hello friends, my name is Nta2. Do you know that coronavirus is a deadly virus that makes people sick? But we can beat coronavirus by protecting ourselves. Let me show you how. Wash your hands regularly and thoroughly. Keep a safe distance from people. When you cough, always cover your mouth like this. Stay healthy and do the Nta2 dance.
Imagine this. Your friend says to you, "Hey man, look what my big bro sent to me. It appears there's an easy way to stop the virus from entering your body." And then you say, "Oh wow, please forward it to me, let me share." And then you send it to one person who sends it to other people and they share it with other people, all without verifying this information. This misinformation might get more people infected and lives lost. Now, imagine this. Your friend says to you, "Hey man, look what my big bro sent to me." It appears there's an easy way to stop the virus from entering your body. And then you say, how sure are you this information is legit? Is it from the WHO or the NCDC websites? Dude, please verify every information about the coronavirus from the NCDC or the WHO websites. Well, you see, you have just stopped the spread of fake info. Remember to tell your big bro, WhatsApp info does not mean correct info. Think about it.
Hello and welcome to the program Young Inventors. I'm Obi Anene, taking you on a jolly good ride on today's package. You're welcome. This is Young Inventors, a production of the NTA Educational Television. We have 3 interesting projects for you today by 4 creative innovators. Benjamin Meshach and Chidubem Obiamaka have a project in the science category, while Retsat Joshua Gushin and Thomas Nanman both have projects in the arts category.
Innovation, creativity, young inventors providing technological solutions.
Representing Christ the King College, Onitsha, Anambra State, are Benjamin and Obiamaka with a project titled Air Purifying System. This project is to provide clean air, reduce the rate of air pollution, and reduce the rate of contamination of airborne diseases. It's over to you, Benjamin and Obiamaka.
What is an air purifying system? Air purifying system is an electronic device that removes contaminants from air to improve air quality. With this device, we are aimed and targeted at reducing the rate of air pollution in our country, Nigeria. With this device, we remove all the triggers that causes cancer, asthma, lung diseases, and all the airborne diseases we can think of. This device is beneficial, and most of all, it is less costly. It's not costly. This is the inlet. This is the absorption part. The air moves in through here. It absorbs the air. This, once it rotates, it takes in air. Then the air now moves in through this pipe. If you can feel it, you see that air is coming out from this place. So once it's coming out, you place it in here. The air now moves in. Once the air moves in, the air moves directly into the first chamber. This place, known as the first filter. The work of this filter is to remove the visible dirt in the air. But sometimes this one does insufficient cleaning. That's why we requested for another filter known as the second filter. Also, it is smaller. It removes those insufficient dirt that the first one could not remove. To make sure that the air is pure, we have to filter it 2 times. For sufficient filtration, we added 2 carbon filters so that it will make it to be pure. Then it now moves to another filter. The work of this third filter is to remove the negative ions in the air. When it removes the bad effects of the air in our body, then it now moves to the last filter known as the electrostatic filter. This small one, it is the work of this electrostatic filter to change the smell. If the air has a bad odor, it is the work of this electrostatic filter to change that bad odor. Then now it moves through this white pipe, through this small pipe into the cooling system. The cooling system is right here. When moving to the cooling system, it is here that the air now cools, it now chills. It is the work of the cooling system to make the air cool. The content of the cooling system is 112-tetrafluoroethane. Then it now comes up from this pipe and through the outlet. You can now feel the cool air. This is where the air now comes out from. Also, this device makes use of solar system. In case if there is no light, you can use this to recharge your project. You can use this to recharge this device so that you can make sufficient use of it. This device can also be charged with electricity. Apart from the solar, you can also use electricity to charge this project. Now, it also has this LED lights in case of darkness. If you are at home, you know how to use this at home. If you're at home and there's no lights, you can use this at home. You can now on this light to see in the dark. Also, it has the MP player for entertainment. If you're at home, if you are bored, you don't know, you can use this to entertain yourself, to play music. This device, with this here, you can be happy at home. You can play music, you can listen to radio. The purpose of creating this project is that it is made for domestic use. You can use it in homes. It's also beneficial in hospitals because it makes the air that we breathe in the hospital to be clean. With this project, the air that is in the hospital will be pure so that patients can breathe in good air. It's also good in the home. You know that once we are in an outer environment, the air is dilute. You don't know what the air can do. But once you are in a confined room, like in a house, that is when you know the efficiency of this project. It now purifies that air because the air there is concentrated. The air in a confined room is concentrated. So this project now purifies that air to give you a better air so that you won't contact any disease that is in the air.
Well done, Benjamin and Obiamaka. But before we move on to our next project, here's who did what.
This week, in 1933, an out-of-work architect named Alfred Marshall Boortz invented a board game that would lift the spirits of millions. Attempting to create a game that would use both chance and skill, Boortz combined features of anagrams and the crossword puzzle. Then Boortz met James Brunot, a game-loving entrepreneur who became thrilled of the concept. Together, they made some refinements on rules and design, and most importantly, came up with the name Scrabble, a real word which means to group frantically. The game was trademarked Scrabble brand crossword game in 1948. The Scrabble game gained slow but steady popularity among a comparative handful of consumers. Then, in the early 1950s, as legend has it, the president of Macy's discovered the game on vacation and ordered some for his store. Within a year, everyone had to have one, to the point that Scrabble games were being rationed to stores around the country.
Kokin Comprehensive College, Gindiri, Plateau State is our next port of call. Red Star's project is titled Coal Burn Oven. This is an original ceramic oven made from red clay fired by charcoal or wood fire burning. Let's see how this works.
It is due to the increasing demand and desire for bakery which has prompted me to come up with this device in order to help the youth start a small-scale business. This work here is made up of clay. I use clay here because clay is a good conductor of heat and also clay is everywhere. As you can see here, from clay turns to be ceramic. So there are some methods in which I use in achieving this work here. I have the coiling method, the slab method, and the freehand method. There are some instruments and devices in which I used here. The geometric shapes are here, and also it is all made up of clay here. Okay, in the description, this is the heat control chamber. This is the heat chamber here. It regulates the heat inside. This is where you put your either a stove, your mini kerosene stove, or a coal. This is the coal. The coal stand. You use the coal stand, put your coal inside, and introduce your heat to the main oven. This is the heat control chamber. It regulates the heat inside the main oven. It helps the heat not to go directly into the main oven in order to avoid burn. This is also the main oven itself. This is where you keep your baking inside. You can see I'm already baking my bread here. Just use oven to bake bread, pastries, fish rolls, cakes, etc. On this main oven, there are two identifiable features. These are the two baking holes. This is also the temperature checking hole, and this is the lid itself. The two breathing holes are used in order to allow free evaporation of heat inside the main oven. Once the temperature is high, you can remove this and the heat inside will evaporate. This is temperature checking hole. It is used to check the temperature at which your food inside is being baked. With the use of this, once the temperature is high, the stick will stand still. But when it's low, it will sit inside, and you know that you have to add your heat inside. What motivated me in making this project here is to help the youth in order to start a small-scale business, especially those engaging themselves in some social vices which are not good, like robbery. But with the help of this, even those in the remote areas can be able to use this without electricity, because my main aim is to help them. Due to the unsteady electricity in our country today, it will help them. Those in the remote areas, they can use this. The charcoal is everywhere, firewood is everywhere. You can insert this. These are two different motifs in which I use, but it's all same thing. It's also used for baking oil, but you can see this one also have all the features found here. This is also an alternative you can use. If you don't want to use this stand here, you can carry your main oven and put it on this place and insert either your coal stand, your charcoal stand, or a small mini kerosene, and you start your baking. This is the lid here. The lid here serves as a cover. It helps to avoid impurities into the food baked inside. And this is also a regulator. This is also a heat regulator. It helps in regulating the heat inside the main oven, because if the heat is not being regulated, the food inside will not be well baked. As you can see, I'm baking my bread. If I just give it some 10 minutes, well baked.
Tenancy matters on the Justice Court. A tenant that is asking for more time to renew his rent despite the landlord had followed the due process to eject him.
When his money due last year, 2019, that's September.
But normally, it's not her own fault. You understand?
So whose fault is it?
It's her brother.
Now you can't say it's your landlord's fault to demand his rent that is due.
I understand.
So once it's coming out, you place it in here. The air now moves in. Once the air moves in, the air moves directly into the first chamber. This place, known as the first filter. The work of this filter is to remove the visible dirt in the air. But sometimes this one does insufficient cleaning. That's why we requested for another filter known as the second filter. Also, it is smaller. It removes those insufficient dirt that the first one could not remove. To make sure that the air is pure, we have to filter it 2 times. For sufficient filtration, we added 2 carbon filters so that it will make it to be pure. Then it now moves to another filter. The work of this third filter is to remove the negative ions in the air. When it removes the bad effects of the air in our body, then it now moves to the last filter known as the electrostatic filter. This small one, it is the work of this electrostatic filter to change the smell. If the air has a bad odor, it is the work of this electrostatic filter to change that bad odor. Then now it moves through this white pipe, through this small pipe into the cooling system. The cooling system is right here. When moving to the cooling system, it is here that the air now cools, it now chills. It is the work of the cooling system to make the air cool. The content of the cooling system is 112 tetrafluoroethane. Then it now comes up from this pipe and through the outlet. You can now feel the cool air. This is where the air now comes out from. Also, this device makes use of solar system. In case if there is no light, you can use this to recharge your project. You can use this to recharge this device so that you can make sufficient use of it. This device can also be charged with electricity. Apart from the solar, you can also use electricity to charge this project. Now, it also has this LED light in case of darkness. If you are at home, you know how to use this at home. If you are at home and there is no light, you can use this at home. You can now on this light to see in the dark. Also, it has the MP player for entertainment. If you are at home, if you are bored, you don't know, you can use this to entertain yourself, to play music. This device, with this here, you can be happy at home. You can play music, you can listen to radio. The purpose of creating this project is that it is made for domestic use. You can use it in homes. It's also beneficial in hospitals because it makes the air that we breathe in the hospital to be clean. With this project, the air that is in the hospital will be pure so that patients can breathe in good air. It's also good in the home. You know that once we are in an outer environment, the air is dilute. You don't know what the air can do. But once you are in a confined room, like in a house, that is when you know the efficiency of this project. It now purifies that air because the air there is concentrated. The air in a confined room is concentrated. So this project now purifies that air to give you a better air so that you won't contact any disease that is in the air.
Well done, Benjamin and Obiamaka. But before we move on to our next project, here's who did what.
This week, in 1933, an out-of-work architect named Alfred Marshall Boortz invented a board game that would lift the spirits of millions. Attempting to create a game that would use both chance and skill, Boortz combined features of anagrams and the crossword puzzle. Then Boortz met James Brunot, a game-loving entrepreneur who became thrilled of the concept. Together, they made some refinements on rules and design, and most importantly, came up with the name Scrabble, a real word which means to group frantically. The game was trademarked Scrabble brand crossword game in 1948. The Scrabble game gained slow but steady popularity among a comparative handful of consumers. Then, in the early 1950s, as legend has it, the president of Macy's discovered the game on vacation and ordered some for his store. Within a year, everyone had to have one, to the point that Scrabble games were being rationed to stores around the country.
Kokin Comprehensive College, Gindiri, Plateau State is our next port of call. Red Star's project is titled Coal Burn Oven. This is an original ceramic oven made from red clay fired by charcoal or wood fire burning. Let's see how this works.
It is due to the increasing demand and desire for bakery which has prompted me to come up with this device in order to help the youth start a small-scale business. This work here is made up of clay. I use clay here because clay is a good conductor of heat and also clay is everywhere. As you can see here, from clay turns to be ceramic. So there are some methods in which I use in achieving this work here. I have the coiling method, the slab method, and the freehand method. There are some instruments and devices in which I used here. The geometric shapes are here, and also it is all made up of clay here. Okay, in the description, this is the heat control chamber. This is the heat chamber here. It controls regulates the heat inside. This is where you keep your either a stove, your mini kerosene stove, or a coal. This is the coal. The coal stand. You use the coal stand with your coal inside, and it reduces your heat into the main oven. This is the heat control chamber. It regulates the heat inside the main oven. It helps the heat not to go directly into the main oven in order to avoid burn. This is also the main oven itself. This is where you keep your bake inside. You can see I'm already baking my bread. Just use oven to bake bread, pastries, fish roll, cakes, etc. On this main oven, there are two identifiable features. These are the two baking holes. This is also the temperature checking hole, and this is the lid itself. The two breathing holes are used in order to allow free evaporation of heat inside the main oven. Once the temperature is high, you can remove this and the heat inside will evaporate. This is the temperature checking hole. It is used to check the temperature at which your food inside is being baked. With the use of this, once the temperature is high, the sticks will stand still. But when it's low, it will sit inside, and you know that you have to add your heat inside. What motivated me in making this project here is to help the youth in order to start a small-scale business, especially those engaging themselves in some social vices which are not good, like robbery. But with the help of this, even those in the remote areas can be able to use this without electricity, because my main aim is to help them. Due to the unsteady electricity in our country today, it will help them. Those in the remote areas, they can use this. The charcoal is everywhere, firewood is everywhere. You can insert this. These are two different motifs in which I use, but it's all same thing. It's also used for baking oil, but you can see this one also have all the features found here. This is also an alternative you can use. If you don't want to use this stand here, you can carry your main oven and put it on this place and insert either your coal stand, your charcoal stand, or a small mini kerosene, and you start your baking. This is the lid here. The lid here serves as a cover. It helps to avoid impurities into the food baked inside. And this is also a regulator. This is also a heat regulator. It helps in regulating the heat inside the main oven, because if the heat is not being regulated, the food inside will not be well baked. As you can see, I'm baking my bread. If I just give it some 10 minutes, well baked. Because as you can see nowadays, every occasion you go, you will not lack one or two bakers yet. But those in the village, they don't have access to baking very well. Only those in the city. But with the help of this, even you're in a village, you can be able to use this. You can just use your clay. This is made up of a red clay. It is a red clay I use in making this project here. Red clay conducts heat fast. It's a good conductor of heat, and also clay is everywhere you go. In producing
provide hope for the youth. This project has built up a trophy which provides hope for Nigerian youth because they are hardworking and active. A trophy, reward, and awards are given or earned through commitment, dedication, determination, hard work. symbolizes loyalty and honor, and my intention was to use silver color, which signifies faith and purity, and green color, which signifies hope and the youth. After the clay has been dug from the ground, that is finding the clay from the ground, you pound the clay and remove all sorts of gravels. You make sure all dirt and gravels are removed from the clay, and you prepare it. That the clay is wet. That means bringing it to a workable condition. Then you keep it in a polythene bag to rest for some time before working on the clay. After the clay has rest a bit, then you start up molding your trophy. You start by laying the base and then start molding it up. So for you to get this, you have to make sure the base is strong enough to hold whatever is at the top. So I use a palette knife to cut out this shape, and this is how it's looking at. After which you allow the work to cool down and regain strength before I now use palette knife and a nylon leather to plaster and smoothen the body of the trophy. After which you allow it to dry, keep it under the sun, allow it to dry well, very, very strong enough before you add heat to it. That's making the work strong enough to be used. After the work has been heated, then you apply your color just as I did. You apply your color, and that's the finishing.
Make things like flower vases, jewelry boxes, and even a clock, and improvised clock.
So after much research, we decided to come up with our own innovation by creating an alternative solution that is completely free of the use of chemicals, and it is the inorganic fertilizer.
Innovation, creativity, young inventors providing technological solutions.
Let's do this again next week, same time, same station. Thanks for watching. God bless our young inventors. God bless Nigeria. I remain your host, Obi Anene. Bye for now.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Ntel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super-fast internet access today. Visit ntel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Ntel. Live more.
Tenancy matters on the Justice Court. A tenant that is asking for more time to renew his rent despite the landlord had followed the due process to eject him.
When his money due last year, 2019, that's September.
But normally, it's not her own fault. You understand?
So whose fault is it?
It's her brother.
Now you can't say it's your landlord's fault to demand his rent that is due.
I understand.
You are owing him, you are telling him it's his fault.
Continuing, a wife that was abandoned with 3 children in a rented apartment and a landlord that wants to eject the family over unpaid rent.
I was told that the husband has, left her and the children relocated to a place I don't know.
Now you stop that from even selling. So where do you expect her to get the money?
Because I want her to leave.
So you blocked.
I want her to, she cannot pay.
How many children do you have? How many?
I have 3 children.
You have 3, you don't have to cry.
Pack your bags and we'll take you around the world and back and inspire you to explore. All work and no play, you say? Then put down the school books and lock up the office. It's time to run away with Explore to the best, brightest and most loved theme parks in the world. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. That's what Mickey Mouse believes, and he ought to know. Mickey was Walt Disney's dream over 50 years ago, and a trip to Disneyland in Anaheim, California is still every child's dream. Walt Disney wanted to create a fully interactive 3-dimensional experience where guests could see, touch and party with their very own fictional heroes.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
On 160 acres of Orange County farmland, Disneyland, the world's first theme park, was built and opened to the public in 1955. Walt Disney, already a successful Hollywood animator, had a concept that was grand in scale and yet simple in aim. It was to be a place where parents and children could play together, a magic kingdom where fantasy, escape and just plain fun were the only rules. You can now enjoy a park that covers 430 acres and employs over 20,000 people. In 1955, the park opened with 24 attractions, including the Sleeping Beauty's much-loved castle. Now, there's 60. Although the big draw card is still the iconic fairy tale castle. And the cuddly characters, of course. Americans are working longer hours than anyone else in the industrialised world. They also have comparatively shorter annual vacations, an average of only 2 weeks a year. A place like Disneyland provides a licence to play and a liberated sense of time in an otherwise hectic year. So if you need a serious escape and some quality time with your children, you can visit 2 separate theme parks here in Anaheim, the classic Disneyland and Disney's Californian Adventure. The kids will love Disneyland and you'll enjoy the extended range of live shows, shopping and dining opportunities of the adjacent park, Disney's Californian Adventure. And to avoid work altogether, you can stay at one of the park's 3 hotels, including the luxurious Grand Californian Hotel and Spa. Then it's only a short stroll or tram ride to the heart of downtown Disney. A good time to visit the popular resort is midweek if you want to avoid the crowds. And to avoid any tears on the way back home, you'd better allow 4 days to cover most attractions of both theme parks. It's minus 20 degrees. The biting bone-dry air could freeze the smile right onto your face. Still want to come outside and play? 1 million people every year do just that here at Harbin's annual Ice Festival. If you lived in the frozen city of Harbin in remote Manchuria, China, enduring below freezing temperatures for half the year, you could complain about the weather. Or you could set about building an unbelievable city of ice and invite the world to come and play. In early December, a few thousand workers over 13 days labour together to cut and haul huge blocks of ice from Harbin's frozen Songhui River to be sculpted into the poetic figures, the monuments, the glassy streets, walls and stately halls of your very own Crystal Palace. The glowing night exhibit attracts ice princesses and shiny knights from far and wide who aren't afraid of a little frostbite. Over the past 20 years, the Harbin Ice Festival has flourished. Each year is bigger and better than the last. Here, the clever artisans have replicated miniature famous Chinese buildings like Beijing's Summer Palace and then illuminated the sculptures in a confectionery of colours. It's an art form dating back 350 years. Farmers and fishermen of old would use large ice blocks lit from inside with oil lamps as a means of illumination while they worked during the long winter months. It's hard to believe Harbin only sprang into existence during the construction of the Trans-Siberian Railway as a bleak Russian outpost. Here in the Ice Festival, you will feel as though you're moving through a celestial world, not quite real, until you slip up in it, of course. Cleverly, Harbin has taken a chilly liability, its inhospitable climate, and turned it into a booming winter tourist destination on the must-see list of thousands. Each year, a new international theme is unveiled and the artisans get to work shaping 120,000 cubic metres of ice and 80,000 cubic metres of packed snow on a scale set to boggle the mind. There are plenty of fun theme park activities for kids and good old-fashioned ways to keep warm at the Ice Festival. In fact, we suggest you do your best to keep moving in the minus 20-degree temperature, which has been known to turn the occasional guest or two into an unwilling ice sculpture. If you survive the miles of frozen exhibits intact, you can always thaw out with friends later on around a good Mongolian hot pot. Join the 1 million people flying to this unique outdoor festival, but be prepared. Harbin is actually further north than the notoriously cold Vladivostok in Russia, 300 miles away. Play is what we do when we're not eating, sleeping or working. Play is described in the dictionary as a non-serious activity. Not so here at Dreamworld. Guests to Dreamworld are very serious about the business of fun. Dreamworld is on the Gold Coast in Australia, about 40 kilometres south of the Queensland capital of Brisbane. It's open every day of the year except Christmas Day and the Australian public holiday Anzac Day. Summer on the Gold Coast from December to February is set at a sparkling average temperature of 25 degrees. The Gold Coast, with its stunning beaches and theme parks, is the most well-known family holiday destination in Australia. Of the several parks in the region, if you live to ride, you'll choose Dreamworld. It's the park for thrill seekers who love the ear-splitting, stomach-churning, adrenaline-pumping good time of a near-death experience. Dreamworld has one of the world's tallest, fastest roller coasters, the Tower of Terror, and the tallest, fastest vertical freefall, the Giant Drop. Theme parks like Dreamworld are designed for all the family, and children under 2 are usually free. Nowadays, companies in the amusement business prioritise safety above everything, and as far as records show, theme parks around the world have never been safer. You can avoid the crowds by planning your day of fun before or after the peak hours of between 1 and 5. If you like your playmates with big sharp teeth and weighing in at 200 kilos, then you'll love Dreamworld's Tiger Island. Here, the endangered Bengal and Sumatran tigers and the beautiful and rare white Bengal tiger perform with their handlers twice a day before dazzled audiences. The tigers enjoy the stimulation of showcasing their natural behaviours and agility, and as an added bonus, they're helping to raise funds to save their own species. Dreamworld in Australia also offers educational programs that give children a hands-on experience with native Australian animals. The programs are interactive, informative and fun, and promote a greater appreciation of native Australian wildlife and the universal need for conservation. You can feed the kangaroo, learn all about the breeding habits of a hairy-nosed wombat. And before you go, try cuddling a crocodile. With perfect weather all year round, this is a carefree family holiday from planning to finish. And you can get surprisingly inexpensive transfers from any hotel on the Gold Coast to any of the theme parks in the area. Not far from Dreamworld, you can find SeaWorld, Australia's premier marine park, also on the Gold Coast of sunny Queensland. SeaWorld is home to a wonderful animal that can certainly teach us humans how to have fun, the dolphin. SeaWorld's interactive animal programs offer education and insight into these amazing marine animals. Through years of research, SeaWorld has developed as close as possible a natural environment for the dolphins. All the pools contain natural flora and fauna in the complementary ecosystem needed for happy and healthy dolphins. SeaWorld is not just about entertainment. The bottlenose dolphins living here provide invaluable research and help unlock the mysteries surrounding this highly intelligent animal. Most of the dolphins in the program have been either hand-reared at SeaWorld or have been rescued from less dolphin-friendly parts of the world. Close study has revealed what super hearing and sight dolphins possess. They can receive high-density sounds of 150 kilohertz, which is 10 times better than humans. They have excellent vision above and below the water and can hunt in zero visibility. Being able to meet, touch, feed and play with dolphins is a dream come true for many people who fell in love with Flipper as children and never outgrew their burning curiosity about these intelligent creatures. The Dolphin Aqua Adventure program is open to all people above the age of 14, and there is a modified program for children in more shallow water. People report strong feelings of excitement and trepidation as the velvety dolphins move in closer to be fed and touched. You'll never forget being invited to play a water game. It's a meeting of minds and a meeting of hearts. Because of their natural intelligence, dolphins have historically been trained to perform tricks for audiences like diving through flaming hoops. Shows like that have fallen very much out of favour now. SeaWorld provides a more sensitive, education-based show that demonstrates the dolphins' abilities and prowess without stress. The shows are still based on tricks, but the tricks are extensions of the dolphins' naturally gregarious behaviour. Performances at SeaWorld are directed by the needs and desires of the animals themselves, and if they don't wish to perform, the show is simply cancelled. You can swim with the dolphins all year round in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Travelling to SeaWorld from Brisbane Airport is easy, or you can fly directly into the Gold Coast. So, have you had enough fun? Had enough of rides and shows and cotton candy? Well, if there's one place that does excess with success, if there's one place where you can never get enough amusement even if you wanted to, it's Japan's biggest theme park, the $2.7 billion Tokyo's Disney Sea. Disney Sea is located next to Tokyo Disneyland and is distinguished by its ocean theme. It's all things watery. Here you can set yourself adrift through the historic places, the fictional stories, the seafaring characters and the awesome ocean vessels of our nautical past. You can take a leisurely cruise on a transit steamer through the Lost River Delta. Or plunge to the bottom of the sea as a member of Captain Nemo's crew. This ride, inspired by the writings of Jules Verne, the father of modern science fiction, takes you into the watery depths of the writer's imagination, encountering shipwrecks and sightings of strange deep sea monsters. The Japanese have a special fascination with the sea, which surrounds the country and its islands and has fed the Japanese mythology. From here, you can sail on to the Arabian coast, home to Sinbad, the most famous sailor in history and now a much-loved Disney character. Go on Sinbad's storybook voyage, joining the hero and his loyal tiger cub Shandu on their epic adventure. This ride is part of 33 attractions over 176 acres in a park that draws about 17 million people a year, far more than any other theme park in the world. Why not try a relaxing ride along the Venice-like waterways of Mediterranean Harbour in an authentic gondola? Touched by the sheer romance of the situation, your gondola may even entertain you with an opera aria or two, in Japanese of course. But if it's speed you want, mind-blowing supersonic G-force acceleration, in short, if you want to fly, then it's Dodonpa. Dodonpa, which means the sound of a racing heart, is the world's fastest roller coaster. Its designers wanted to create a ride that felt like a rocket being launched into outer space. It took $2.42 million to do it, and it works. The ride is the main reason guests sign for a visit to Tokyo's Disney Sea theme park. How wet you want to get at Tokyo's Disney Sea is entirely up to you, but you may need to take a change of clothes. When riding the world's fastest roller coaster, Dodonpa, it is advised that you remove hats, bags and glasses. You have been warned. If you think imitation Venetian canals and cheesy floor shows sound like counterfeit fun, you may be after a more valuable experience. Skyrail Rainforest Cableway in Cairns, Northern Australia is a world first in environmental tourism. From the Skyrail, you will get a cloud's eye view flying over thousands of hectares of one of the last truly unspoiled rainforests in the world. Australia's tropical rainforests stretch over 500 kilometres along North Queensland's coastline and are the oldest continually surviving rainforests on Earth. Cairns Skyrail provides a comfortable 6-person gondola designed to glide just metres above the forest canopy. The excursion covers 7.5 kilometres and takes around 2.5 hours for a round trip. Being so close to the sights, smells, the cool lushness of the rainforest, at times you'll even feel part of the primitive paradise. Rainforests like this once covered the entire continent of Australia. Now rainforests cover less than 1/1000th of the country's total landmass. Cairns Skyrail Rainforest Cableway is just 15 minutes drive from Cairns and around 50 minutes south of the stunning holiday destination Port Douglas. Now a World Heritage listed site, you can follow through your exploration of one of the most botanically fascinating and ecologically diverse areas on Earth by a visit to the Learning Centre.